This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party Live. Welcome to it. Thanks for being here. I was working on some new pictures, some updated forms or kind of, I don't know, slides that I made that I wanted to show you in just a moment. But please click the like button if you can. I would appreciate it. And I have a milestone, kind of, that I've reached. We had, oh gosh, I want to say about 1,600 subscribers, and we hit 17 something. So we're on our way toward 2,000. If you can click the subscribe button if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it as I try to work my way up to 2,000. It's baby steps over here. So yeah, I appreciate that very much. A lot of good stories today. I saw this one about the weirdest things that people leave behind in their Uber rides, so I thought we could get to that. But first, I do want to thank people that have taken time to support the show in its newest format. Really, really appreciate you. So thank you so much, really, from the bottom of my heart, for checking that PayPal link out and contributing whatever you're able to do. Really, really grateful for all the help. These are all the folks that have done so since the changeover on March 26th, and I couldn't be more thankful, honestly. So as you see the names scroll on your screen, and if you see your name pop up, please know that you are incredibly appreciated. You are the reason that this show continues to roll on in its current form, and it is something that is evolving, but I'm telling you, I really, really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody. I'll do a little bit better. I'll have to change that purple to black and reorganize a little bit, but a huge, huge after party aloha to everyone. Now you saw Antonia's name on the screen there in that last slide, and she contributed yesterday, and I wanted to read you the message that she sent. She's so nice. She says, Kim, you're one of the hardest working women I know, or should say listen to. I find you witty and intelligent. Well, that's nice. Thank you. And she said, she is contributing this money because she has an anniversary coming up. So very grateful for that and for the message and for the kind words, and congratulations on your milestone as well. Really, really hope that you have a great event and great time celebrating. So thank you for that. I'm trying to bring your message up, but only half of it's coming up. So Antonia, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's get into the show. Let's dig in. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to ask you, remember we have our meme of the week coming up on Friday. I have a couple that I've saved as I've gone along, but if there's anything that you see pop up in your internet travels, please make sure you send it to me, Kim at the After Party Live. You can also find me at kgoandexile@gmail.com. Or Kim McAllister at gmail.com. Any and all of the above will work for you. Send me the funniest memes that you find, or the most pertinent for whatever reason that you find during the week. All right, let's head into the show. Why don't we? Here it is. The wackiest things that people find, or that I should say Uber drivers find, things that have been left behind. And there's some doozies, I'll tell you. And some of them include paternity tests. That's something you don't want to leave behind, right? Toupees, you can see the hairpiece on the top of the screen there. Bread? Yeah, okay. The frequently forgotten items aren't really surprising. Clothing, luggage, headphones, right? But they've come out with the list of their 50 most unique items that were left in Uber vehicles over the last 12 months. So someone left very expensive blueberries. Someone left a framed Taylor Swift autograph, a car engine. Someone accidentally left $1,000 behind. One driver said you could see the leaf there next to the bread. I left a leaf in your car, and it's very much needed. Somebody left behind a jar of oysters. A Benihana garlic butter. Yeah, Okay. Someone left behind a wizard woman. What? Uh, waist beads and a burrito steamer. Yeah. Some pretty wacky things left behind. It looks like a gnome. Look at that. A panic button. A, a world champion wrestling belt, perhaps? Expensive champagne? Yeah. All right. And it's funny, the things that people will call to say I left behind. The things that, you left your Playbill behind, just walk away. Come on. There's this story. I just saw it as we were coming on the air. I thought it was so interesting. You see sometimes these homeless encampments, right, by the side of freeways or under freeway overpasses. But this person really, I have to say, went to town. They didn't just build uh, not just a tent, they built a whole house here. What? Yeah, this is on the side of a freeway in Southern California. Would you look at that? They construct this house. You can see it there in between the freeway area, right on the top of the embankment there. Wild. Absolutely wild. This is in Southern California, right on the side of the freeway. It seems to me that has to go. I mean, you can't build your house just anywhere you want, right? The story off of Cron 4, as you can see by the website here. The makeshift structure, apparently, right on the side of a Southern California freeway off the 110 near Highland Park. Somebody has put up this actual house. And others say the handiwork is really impressive, what they've done. The public works folks say this doesn't belong here. No, it's not what this area is supposed to be used for. This is very dangerous. There are people cooking out here with open flames. I mean, potentially, I don't know, stealing electricity? No, not going to work out. The folks in the area say, listen, it sucks that some of these people are here. We wish better for them. But I can't be sorry for the mistakes they made, and this is not going to be able to stand. One resident said, listen, rents need to be lower, especially in Los Angeles where people can't afford to live. But this encampment right along this 110 freeway, getting a lot of attention. You just build your house wherever you want to build it. Yeah, that doesn't quite work out. But check out the pictures. So there's the house. They even have a little stone porch area that they've constructed. Look at that. I mean, cars whipping by mere feet from your house at breakneck freeway speeds. Come on. Look at that. I guess it's creative, you could say. Yeah. Small. They've got a tarp as a roof. This is the world we live in. Look at this. They've extended it out. Slapped some shutters up there. Whatever they could find. And there it is, at the top of the embankment, in this little planter area, right on the freeway. Wow. It's surprising to me that it's been allowed to stand this long, or that people didn't see what was going on and put a stop to that. The CHP should have been on that, right? Is anyone else surprised by that? I am, gotta tell you. All right, let's talk about this something else going on in Southern California. This is in Anaheim, where you could soon be pulled over by a cop in a Tesla. That's pretty nice. This is the Anaheim Police Department. They have this pilot program for Tesla patrol cars. They're introducing Tesla vehicles into their fleet. They've purchased 6 Model Y SUVs directly from Tesla. They're outfitted with all the necessary police equipment. They took them to a third-party vendor to get that done. The Anaheim police say they're facing a shortage of dependable, reliable patrol cars, that national supply chain issues, aging patrol vehicles, and delivery delays of newly purchased patrol cars have all combined to make this a significant vehicle shortage in the Anaheim Police Department. That when they ordered a patrol car, it would take more than a year to arrive. So, this is their effort to quickly acquire patrol vehicles. The addition of Tesla vehicles, which could be delivered within a 2-week time frame, they say, was really the best option for them. So, the department has 83 patrol vehicles. Officials said they're aging, they're breaking down, they've got big maintenance costs as well. The Model Y, they picked it because it has what they call advanced features. It has rapid acceleration, it has ample storage, they call it affordable, low maintenance requirements, and all of that is important to the whole operation of the police department. In addition to an expansive supercharging network throughout the city, the vehicles will enable officers, they say, to respond swiftly to incidents and effectively engage with the community. So, although they say initially there's a higher cost for Teslas, overall the lifetime maintenance they expect to be lower. I don't know, because if you damage a Tesla, isn't it more expensive to fix it? Each specially outfitted Model Y patrol car will cost around $95,000 compared to $79,000 for a Ford Explorer. But the Teslas, they say, won't have the costly maintenance fees that come with the traditional gas engine vehicles, and they're also expected to have a longer lifetime. They'll last longer. So, other police departments other than Anaheim that are looking at these Teslas and have purchased them include South Pasadena and Fremont here in the Bay Area as well. So the officers have to be trained on these electric vehicles before they take them out for patrol duty. And during the pilot program in Anaheim, they're going to be monitoring the car's performance, the cost effectiveness. They're going to look at its reliability and see if it's something they want to move forward with. So, the cop in the Tesla. This is something new. This report on animals is sponsored by Antonia. Woohoo! Let's talk about this guy. This guy was seen outside of a bar. People probably thought I'd wanted too many cocktails. That's not what I wanted to see. It's a loose lemur spotted outside of a Texas bar. Multiple sightings of this very non-native lemur, a ring-tailed lemur, right outside Mickey's Bar and Grill in Aransas Pass, Texas. They tried to catch it to take it to animal control, but no one could. The people in this area have spotted more than one of these lemurs around. Someone living on a boat, and you can see there's a marina in the background, said, I saw some ears sticking up, but by that time, I thought it was a cat, but by the time I got up to look, he had jumped away. So, having a hard time catching these Madagascar native primates. Apparently, 2 of them escaped while their owner was out of town. I don't know who in their right mind, and this is kind of the theme of this animal segment today, thinks it's okay to have exotic pets like this. Why anybody would say, what kind of a pet do I want? I think I'll have a lemur or 2. Yeah, let's do that. The owner apparently left the 2 lemurs with someone, and they escaped. And they've called animal control. They won't come out, apparently, in this area. So residents have tried to capture these lemurs. They can't do it. Some people are trying to feed them to make sure they're okay. This is interesting, Ringtail Ranch Lemur Rescue in Lubbock, which is offered to give these lemurs a new home if they can be captured. The capturing is the hard part. The Aransas Pass police do say they are aware of the presence of this lemur and that exotic animals are not legal to keep as pets in the city. So, busted for your lemur. This is kind of cute. These cows got free and loose and broke out of their pasture. This happened in Guernsey. Yeah, Guernsey, the island of Guernsey. This herd of cows escaped from their fenced-in pasture, and the Guernsey Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals said they walked right into an animal rescue center. So they went from their pasture to the animal rescue center. It's almost like they knew just where to go. Yeah, they got a hold of the farmer and they went back to their pasture. So the folks at the rescue center said they're not the first runaway animals to turn themselves in at the facility. In recent years, they've seen a stray horse walk into the parking lot, 2 goats walk on site to hand themselves over because they escaped their field. So it's like this place has a welcome mat rolled out for the animals. Did you see? I don't know if you've seen this story. And usually I won't show you pictures of children, but in this case, the family has put out a TikTok video, multiple TikTok videos with their kids. They appeared on Good Morning America, so this isn't, something where they're keeping their identity private. This boy is 9. His name is Cal, and he has been in love with octopi. You can see he's got an octopus t-shirt on there forever, since he was about 2. He's dressed up as an octopus for Halloween, right? Constantly studying about them, talking about them. He's an octopus fanatic, and he really, really wanted one as a pet. This is when, as a mom, I explained to the child, well, octopuses are much better kept in the ocean where they can be free and wild. Why would we want to put one in a little tank? But that's not what this family did. They got him a tank and they got him an octopus. Yeah. Marine scientists say, don't do this. Not a good idea. I mean, it's hard enough for aquariums to keep these creatures alive with the water temperature and acidity and everything perfect for them. But they got an octopus. Didn't go well. Because a few days after they got this octopus, which they thought was a male octopus, they realized, not a male octopus. Nope, it's a female octopus. And it laid a clutch of about 50 eggs. Yeah. And so then the little tiny baby octopuses started to hatch. And not all of them survived. At first, they didn't realize, they didn't know how many. They thought there could be more than 100 in here. No. About 50, exactly 50. It's a California 2-spot octopus that they acquired. The boy was so excited to have this octopus, and then so excited to see the little baby octopuses born. He got the octopus, which was originally named Terrence, for his 9th birthday. Terrence turns out to be Terry, I guess. I don't know. These octopuses, interestingly, only mate once in their lifetime. The male dies right after inseminating the female, and then the female often dies from starvation or exhaustion during nesting while watching over her eggs. Stops eating, self-mutilates, all kinds of things. The experts told this family the eggs couldn't be fertilized, so don't worry about it, right? And so the family hand-fed her while she was protecting what she thought were her eggs that would never hatch. But then they realized, they picked up one of the eggs, accidentally popped it, and a little droplet came out and spread the tiny tentacles and does 3 swim strokes. And they realized there's live little baby octopi in here. Apparently, before this octopus, which is now living in a tank, had been caught by a diver off the coast of California, it had bred with another octopus. The eggs were delivered late because female octopuses can delay their egg release until they feel safe. They have a 150 to 210 day gestation period. So as each one of these 50 eggs hatched, the dad scrambles to take care of them. He had to put them in individual containers because if he didn't, they would eat each other, he discovered. So he goes out, he spends hundreds of dollars every week on food, $3,000 to $4,000 on octopuses in the last year. Um, he's got counters all over the place with little cups filled with baby octopuses. Monterey Bay Aquarium spokesperson, director of husbandry operations, his name is Paul Clarkson, says, ordinarily he'd have doubts about the welfare of any octopus being raised in a private home. He does say what these people did is pretty extraordinary, but they caution against members of the public keeping an octopus as a pet. So out of the 50 original octopuses that were hatched in this home, 23 of them are still alive. And that is apparently pretty rare because usually in the wild, there would be only 2 that would survive out of a clutch of 50 eggs. Only 2 that would live into adulthood. So maybe more will die. But they're still taking care of them. They do say they're looking for somebody who might want them. Maybe an aquarium. They're trying to offload these now baby octopuses, somewhere else. I don't know. What do you think about this? Do you buy your kid an exotic pet like that? You think that's a good idea? Oh. Where did the octopus come from? It's illegal to sell them. I don't know where they got it. Apparently some diver took it out of the ocean. Maybe there's a pet store. I know that you can get exotic fish and marine life on certain internet websites. So perhaps maybe that's where they did it. John says he needs to release them into the wild. Well, they'll almost certainly die if they do that. I don't know. Walter loves octopi. Is it octopi or octopus? Heather's like, I assume you're saying not at all. You should not buy your child an exotic pet. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could be said, that it doesn't matter if we keep one in a tank because look, we eat them, right? People eat them. Yeah. Ms. Organic, I'm with you. She says, leave the animals where they belong. Lori said, it's wrong. Don't keep wild animals in captivity. I fully agree with this. Sandy says, doesn't seem like a good idea to buy an exotic pet like that for a child. I would argue even for an adult, but yeah, I don't think it sends a good message to a child. The message you want to send is, appreciate wild animals in nature. Not, I know you really love octopuses, so let's get one. But I know you really love octopuses. Let's go to the aquarium and look. Or let's go on a submarine trip with they have the glass submarines and look and see what we can see. Or let's watch this octopus documentary. Let's appreciate them in nature, in their natural habitat. No. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it, Heather. Since they're humanized, maybe aquariums could take them off their hands. Yeah, and that's what it's going to have to be. Because I don't know. I mean, maybe they're not that domesticated, if you can even domesticate that, or not used to hunting for their own food. And it is true that in the wild, not that many would survive. So I don't know. I don't know. Susan says, no one should have a wild animal of any kind. It seems cruel. Sandy says, maybe go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and look at them there. That's right. Now, this family is from Oklahoma. So they have this octopus in Oklahoma. And now they've got, at least 23 surviving baby octopuses that they're trying to take care of. Which is difficult. Because now you got to put them all in separate tanks. And they're going to grow. So little cups in the bathroom aren't going to cut it. And you've got to have the pH exactly right. And you've got to have the temperature exactly right. And how do you do all this? This is a lot more than you bargained for. Meanwhile, the mother octopus, in this case, now Terry, usually, again, would have died right after the hatching, right? Now that she's not needed anymore. But she's still alive. That wouldn't have happened in nature either. 4 months after giving birth to these 50, or not giving birth, laying the clutch of eggs, 50 octopus eggs, she's still alive. So they're taking care of her. Yeah. One anthropologist tells the New York Times these creatures do not belong in human homes. No. But that's the way it goes. This little boy has his octopus. He was interviewed on Good Morning America and said, agreed, and said octopuses shouldn't be kept as pets. And they asked him, but would you do anything differently? And he said, nope, I think my dad got it right on. So I do think that this child has a love of marine life and a fascination with it. And who knows, maybe he'll grow up to be an amazing marine science researcher, right? But I don't know if you stoke the love of science, of research, by getting a child a pet that should be in the wild. Teacher Lori says aquariums have hands-on exhibits where kids can touch some sea creatures like starfish, etc. Yeah, even at the Monterey Aquarium, you can stick your hand in a pool. It's funny, I just pulled my sweater sleeve up when I did that as if I'm sticking my hand in a pool. And you can touch the wings of bat rays as they swim by. Really, really cool experience. And then they do have the petting area in the Monterey Bay Aquarium too. And it's not just starfish, it's all kinds of creatures in there. Hermit crabs, all kinds of interesting things. Oh yeah, that's what you do. Ms. Organic says maybe he'll be the owner of a Bass Pro Shop. Let's hope not. Right, that was my surprise too. Nowhere even near the ocean. Now, if you told me that a child in California or Florida was walking along the beach and found an octopus in distress, different story, right? Totally different story. And even then, maybe we would have rescued it and driven it the 2.5 hours to the Monterey Aquarium and said, can you help us? But in this instance, they bought one. No. All right, I'll get off my soapbox now with that. But I thought that was an interesting story. You buy one octopus, you end up with 50 eggs. This is so interesting. So, we have a big problem when it comes to condors, California condors. They're endangered, right? We're trying to save them. Every time we see one of these guys that is born, we're so excited. Well, interestingly, I'm sorry, I'll get that picture off. Interestingly, check this out. This is, this is a CT. It doesn't go on long enough, but it's a CT of a condor egg. Look at that. You can kind of see inside of it. So interesting. That is a peek inside a California condor egg just days before it hatched. They did a CT scan, the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. They welcomed its 250th California condor chick into their breeding program. The CT scan, they said, helped determine the bird was well positioned for hatching. I think they just wanted to see inside of it. But they are critically endangered. They're the largest wild birds in North American skies. The wingspans can top 8 feet. But they have to break out of their shells first, and apparently a lot can go wrong when they do that. It's called pipping. They first poke their little beaks through the shells. So that's why the vets who run the California Condor breeding program keep a really close eye on these developing eggs. Several weeks ago, they had this one egg that they were monitoring for the breeding program at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. And they said it started to set off alarm bells. The chick had apparently gotten into a contorted kind of position. And so to assess what it looked like inside, they put it in a CT scan machine, and they have this detailed 3-dimensional view of what was happening inside. And there's that image that you can see. It's fine, exactly how it's in there. It's fascinating. So They say you can see the skeleton and the air pockets in the egg. They're blown away by this image. They've been trying for 40 years to bring the California condor population back from the brink of extinction. So it's one of several captive breeding programs across the country. In 1982, only 22 wild condors remained in America. Today, 344. So they've got 217 living in captivity as well. California condors, they say, were the first birds to recover from a former extinct in the wild status. So these breeding programs have really made the difference. This egg, apparently the little one inside came out, and it seems like everything's okay. But I don't know if this is the first time we've ever seen a CT scan of a California condor. By the way, just because they've escaped the horribly endangered status, they still face a lot of threats. And here are some of them: lead poisoning, litter, emerging diseases like avian flu, right? All of these things. I mean, we're cluttering up their environment. Yeah. So zookeepers are celebrating this chick's birth. They said the milestone feels incredible because, again, it's their 250th California condor chick that has been born into the breeding program at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. And I just love this. Let's see it one more time. Yeah. So interesting. Look at that. Love it. All right. Let's talk about bees underwater. Do you see this story? This is crazy. Oops, that's not the right one. That's not a bee. Hey, that's not right. This is a bee. There you go. The word is some bumblebees can survive underwater for up to a week. Every time a bee lands in our pool, we scoop it out and set it on the side, hoping that it lives. But maybe we don't need to. I don't know. The scientists looking into bumblebees, so these are the fat ones, right? Not the regular bees, honeybees. They were doing an experiment and they made an error. And when they made this mistake, it led to a very surprising discovery that these bumblebees apparently have a remarkable ability to survive underwater for up to a week. Who knew? The study is published in the journal Biology Letters today, and it describes how scientists from Canada's University of Guelph, 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 accidentally submerged hibernating queen common eastern bumblebees in water, and then realized they survived. The study author says this is really surprising. These terrestrial organisms aren't designed to be underwater. So then they do an experiment involving 143 common eastern bumblebee queens. And they find that those kept underwater for periods of up to 7 days had similar survival rates to those not kept underwater. There were very little impact of any of the submersion regimes. And it's the first time scientists have tested how bumblebee queens fare when submerged for long periods. The findings, they say, are shedding new light on these insects' adaptations and their resilience to flooding. So during the cold season, the queen hibernates alone after the male worker bees die out at the end of autumn. They overwinter in these small burrows, usually in well-drained soil in banks. They think these conditions provide protection from flooding, but the study shows they don't necessarily need to because they can survive. They say we don't know much about the critical phase in their life history. We're starting to scratch the surface about what's going on when they're underground. The study didn't set out to examine how these bees are able to survive, but researchers say one possible explanation is that they're in something called diapause. That's a state of suspended growth and reproduction characterized by reduced oxygen intake. So during this diapause, diapause, like menopause, but with diapause, respiratory openings known as spiracles can close for extended periods and stop water from entering the body, and submerged bumblebee queens could be able to breathe through their skin. So the bees would be on energy saver mode. If they were active, they probably wouldn't be able to survive underwater. But since they're in the diapause, they can. That's what they think. So now that they made this mistake and they realize, aha, they can survive, they have something now for future research. And so the same people that were involved in this discovery now plan to test whether hibernating queens can survive for longer than a week underwater, which is kind of sad when you think about it, because they're going to really stress them out. Dump them in water and see how long it takes for them to die. It's like, really? That's your research? So it's interesting, and you kind of want to know on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, how bad do we really need to know? Do we really need to kill them? Yeah. They're also going to look into whether other bee species have a similar resilience to being submerged in water. And the reason they say they'll do it is because understanding wild pollinators is really important when you emphasize their importance for food security, terrestrial ecosystems, and the ways we can help them. So we kill them to help them. This is why I'm so interested in science, but maybe I don't have the right mindset for it, because I would feel really bad. Like after 7 days, like, okay, that's the end. They can't live longer than this. We should take them out now. No. You know, I love a good find. Oh yeah, love a good find. This one, this old British train car, 100 years old, was found by archaeologists who were digging stuff up in Belgium, of all places. So they were excavating this 19th century fortress. And they found this London Northeastern Railway car, 100 years old. They were in the northern citadel in Antwerp, and they find this dark red train car marked with the LNER, London Northeastern Railway logo. The company identified the find as a removals car, so it was meant for removing property from a person's old home to a new residence. The wooden removals truck is thought to be about 100 years old. It's a mystery as to how it came to be in Antwerp. There's very little left of the relic. It kind of disintegrated as they were uncovering it. They're digging it out and it fell apart. But they say it appears to be the very first model of a removals car. They were used only briefly around 1930 before the company replaced them with updated blue models. This isn't the blue model. This looks like more of a, would you say reddish model? Burgundy? Pinot Noir colored? I don't know. They say the researchers haven't determined how this car came to be buried 500 miles from the train company's British headquarters. You wonder, if somebody buried a train car like that, what was inside of it? What were they trying to hide? Did they find any bones in there? The curious find, they say, has certainly generated lots of interest. We're delighted the team from Urban Archaeology Department at the City of Antwerp has helped shed more light on the discovery. They say we're fascinated by the LNER's history, and we'd like to thank their team for their help in unearthing more information about the proud past. I'm telling you, something's in there. They need to dig deeper. It's not just the train car that somebody buried, right? Come on now. All right, Lotto story of the day. You guys ready for it? This one, I love a good lottery story. Some people just keep winning on accident. I mean, I'm trying to really win, pardon me, and they're just winning for the craziest reasons. In this case, this woman has a tarot card reading, and it correctly predicted that she would win $500,000 later that very same day. She's a 59-year-old woman from Michigan, She said she was on her way to the tarot card reading when she stopped off at the gas station to buy some scratch off tickets on her way to get her, to do her tarot cards. During the reading, she said, I was told money would be coming into my life very soon. I tried to think of ways this might happen, but I didn't even think about the lottery tickets in my purse. Later that night, I scratched the tickets, I saw the star symbol, and I thought, well, at least I won my money back, assuming it would be a $10 win. But much to my surprise, I revealed a prize of $500,000. The woman says, I tried to remain calm, but I knew right then and there this had just changed my life. This prize comes from a 50 times wild time scratch off ticket. She's going to pay off her car. She's going on a cruise with a friend. She's going to do some investments. Yeah. I don't necessarily know that the tarot card reading was right, but what do I know? I mean, hey, you're told hours before you scratch off a $500,000 ticket that money is coming into your life? Coincidence? I don't know. That's the lotto story of the day. So we talked earlier today on the Mark Thompson show about all the trials and tribulations going on with Boeing. Now, this would put a big question mark if I'm an astronaut. The good thing I'm not one. This Boeing Starliner has rolled to the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station ahead of its launch in May. Okay, Boeing made it. Is anybody concerned? Maybe I'm concerned for no reason, but it's the Boeing Starliner spacecraft that is going to have a liftoff scheduled for May 6th from the Kennedy Space Center. It moved from Kennedy to Cape Canaveral. The Starline was put aboard a transporter at the Commercial Crew and Cargo Processing Facility at Kennedy Space Center Monday. They did the final checks, and then they took it on the short trip to the United Launch Alliance's Vertical Integration Facility at the Space Force Station. The Atlas V, as it's called, will receive its precious cargo today as the Boeing Space Starliner spacecraft is transported. They have astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams, the first passengers, posing in front of it. They call it a big day for NASA and a big day for Boeing as we get over to the rocket and mate these things together. Maybe it's a different team, hopefully, and a different process of manufacturing. But I'm sorry. If I'm the astronaut, I'm thinking, you want me to go to space on a Boeing? I don't know. I'd kind of like to come home to my family. No thanks. Let's talk about this. This is America getting involved in this partnership to prevent future pandemics. And I know we don't get very political on this show for good reason, because we've already done that, right? Been there, done that today. But I will say that I feel this is something that we wouldn't get with the other person running for office. He who shall not be named. I feel like this is specifically because we have President Biden that something important like this is happening. So the White House is announcing a global partnership to prevent future pandemics. I mean, they were saying in the Trump administration, sorry I said it, don't worry about it, right? Go out in the sunshine, you're fine. This too shall pass. And maybe we deal with it differently now, but it hasn't passed. The Biden administration announcing yesterday it'll work with 50 countries around the world trying to prevent global pandemics like COVID. Because we know COVID won't be our last pandemic. We don't know what the next one will be. God forbid it's something even worse. But we saw the rollback under Mr. Biden, President Biden's predecessor, of funding for research and science, right? And now we have the funding put back and we're working with other countries. This is what we need to do. We can't look away from this. There may not have been a pandemic for what? I don't know, 90 years, 100 years? But we know one is coming. And so we have to take steps like this. President Biden saying in a statement, he's proud to announce that his administration is releasing a new global health security strategy, outlining actions the United States will take over the next 5 years to prevent, detect, and effectively respond to biological threats wherever they emerge. Thank God somebody is thinking and making sense. So, as part of this initiative, the United States will offer support and expertise to nations largely in Africa and Asia aimed at boosting preparedness, detection, and response to emerging outbreaks. The U.S. State Department, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the U.S. Agency for International Development are all taking part in this. They're all working on this. The new effort expands what the Biden administration calls its global health security partnerships, from 19 countries now to 50 countries involved. In a health emergency, they say, countries need to be able to quickly access financing to fortify their health systems, to procure medical countermeasures, and launch an effective response. So you have a pathogen or something that emerges in a country where they don't have the resources, the expertise to fight it, or the money to fight it. And now we're this open society where people are flying all over the place, and you have it spread like wildfire. So we all have to work together on this. As the world's biggest investor in health security, the United States will collaborate with countries and key organizations to identify and strengthen solutions to enhance access to financing for pandemic preparedness and response. They say global health security is national security. I completely agree, don't you? Global health security is national security. We saw, it brought us to our knees. We had a complete shutdown of everything. We were all locked in and bleaching our groceries on the porch. The CDC, they say, are proud to contribute expertise, investments, and rapid response to protect the health and safety of the American people and the world. I'm proud of us. I think this is exactly right. Speaking of COVID, I saw this study, and I thought it was kind of interesting about why kids don't get as sick as grown-ups. And they've been looking into this for a while. And now researchers have found rapid immune response cells inside the noses of children, they think, is what leads them to have milder cases. This is a new study that was done at the University of College London Division of Medicine. And they say the cells lining the inside of the nose in kids are more likely to have a prompt immune response to COVID, more so in young people than in older people. This according to lab results. And so this is why kids have a milder case if they should contract COVID. The enhanced response occurred even when researchers screened out the immune cells that would naturally exist alongside the cells lining the nose, which are called nasal epithelial cells. And researchers say, here's the quote, "It's fascinating when we take away immune cells from nasal samples and are only left with nasal epithelial cells grown in a dish, we are still able to identify age-specific differences in our body's response to COVID between the young and the elderly to explain why children are generally protected from severe COVID." For the study, researchers cultured nasal cells donated from healthy kids, healthy adults, and healthy seniors. The cell cultures were then exposed to the coronavirus, and then the response was tracked in the lab. And after 3 days, the nasal cells of children responded promptly to the virus by increasing interferon, which is a signaling protein that serves as the body's first line of defense against invading viruses. Interferons cause nearby cells to heighten their own antiviral defenses, thereby boosting immune defense. But the early antiviral response becomes less pronounced with age. In fact, the nasal cells of seniors tended to produce more infectious viral particles, which actually aided in the spread of the virus through the body. So, the stronger antiviral response in children's nasal cells could explain the milder symptoms in kids. Further, the increased damage and higher viral replication found in the nasal cells of seniors could show why they're at greater risk. And I don't know what we do about this, other than the scientists here and this researcher say it could be crucial in developing effective antiviral treatments tailored to different age groups, especially for the elderly who are at higher risk of severe COVID. So, could you then replicate the type of cells found in the noses of children and have that be a spray that seniors could put in? It seems like if they could do that and help protect people. I mean, I know we already have the vaccine, but hey, any extra protection is good protection, right? I don't want to end with something negative and creepy, but I'm gonna. You ready for this one? Sorry. I know. I know! I'm glad you guys taught me how to say cicada properly, because there's so many cicada stories. This is a gnarly fungus that apparently makes cicadas hypersexual. If it happened to humans, we would just lay down and die. We know that trillions of cicadas in a cicada apocalypse are coming this spring and summer across the southern and midwestern United States. But some of these will have this sexually transmitted fungal pathogen exclusive to their species. It's called Masopora cicadina, and it controls them like a puppet master. It causes the infected cicadas to act hypersexual and infect other bugs before they eventually die. It can affect both broods that are set to emerge in the coming weeks. When they emerge, the cicadas molt into adults. Within a week to 10 days, this fungus opens up the backs of their abdomens. The scientists still aren't sure when in their life cycle cicadas initially become infected with it, but the prevailing hypothesis is that they're infected on their way up from the ground. The infected ones look like they have a gumdrop that's gotten wet and dropped in chalk dust on them. So gross. Oh, I hate to look at close-up pictures of bugs. And why am I doing that to you? I will not. No longer. So gross. So it makes this cicada hypersexualized, where the males will continually try to unsuccessfully mate with females and mimic female behaviors to attract other males to mate with them too. It then doubles the number of cicadas that will eventually become infected, and it's why it's considered to be a sexually transmitted cicada disease. The disease, the fungus, has the ability to keep the host alive long enough to maximize the number of other cicadas infected. They call it a biotroph. That's the term for that, I guess. Things you learn. It's a trick of the fungus, like a puppet master pulling strings to maximize its own survival. Infection rates can reach 20% of a cicada cicadas if the environmental conditions are perfect. So, some other studies say 5%. Interesting. As we prepare for the cicada immersion coming up later on. Sorry to end with that, but that's what we're doing. Again, huge thanks to everyone who has supported the After Party Live. Maybe you're having second thoughts right about now. I don't know. Heather, Lee, Linda G, Sue Ann, Carrie, Nancy, Deidre, Jim L, Teresa, James, and Beth, and Candida, and Carol, Pamela, Donald, Harold, Janet's, the Janet W and the Janet R team, Joe, Robin, Kathleen, William, and Ricky, Cynthia C and J, Karen C and K, the Kims, Kim N and Kim H, from this Kim to you, thank you, Susan D and Susan S, Sarah Dillette, Mark H, Gretchen and Calvin, And again, Antonia, congratulations. Murphy, John R., Lori D., and Laura W. Huge, huge thank you. Julie, Martha, Louise, Elaine, Kathy, Deborah, Wes, Chris, Sheila, Maureen, Paul, Gary, and Sue Ellen. You are also appreciated, and a big after party aloha to you. All right. Tomorrow we have Trivia Thursday again, right? Yeah, we do. I don't know what the category will be. If you have any suggestions as I think about it for the rest of the day, please do send me a message. You can find me at Kim at the afterparty.live, also KGO in exile at gmail.com, or Kim McAllister at gmail.com will work as well. So it all works. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow I'll give you an update on Brave Little Hunter, the orca calf that's stranded off Vancouver Island in Canada. So we'll check in and see how everything's going there. But until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day. A recorded version, short version of the Nikki Maduro show starts at 10 a.m., followed by the Mark Thompson show, which is live tomorrow at 11, and it's a David Katz day. So David Katz will be on the program, former federal prosecutor. And then we'll have Trivia Thursday here on the After Party Live. So again, have a great rest of your day. Make it a really good one, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
You're right, it was Karen. Aloha.